All right. Hi, I'm back. And this section is actually about administering surveys in the UAS. I hope that your appetite has been whetted a bit to use data and also maybe collect your own data. And if so, then I'm going to talk a bit about kind of the basic things that we offer. If you come to us for an estimate or a quote, for example, you want to write a grant and get some funding to do some of the things that you're thinking about now from having been inspired by all of this so far. And we would help you think through your project and help you get an estimate for it. So I'm going to talk to you about basically what's involved in our process and also what's available in our basic cost estimates. And then Tanya will talk to you about other things that we have available, special services. Right. So the scope of the talk, what's included in our basic cost estimate, what the process is, and the data collection, everything I just said. All right. So our pricing is very simple. It's based on number of completed surveys and survey length in minutes. Like I say, we're quite happy for you to reach out to us and we will talk to you about your project and help you think through and get you estimates. But if you're the kind of person who likes to do some research first, we do have a calculator online. And here is where it is, another circled menu on the UAS data site. If you click there on services and pricing, it will take you to our online pricing calculator. And what you put in there are the number of minutes it's going to take for your survey and the number of respondents, and it will get you an estimate of cost. So in our example here, for a 5-minute survey and 1,000 respondents, the total cost of $15,750. So we have, with the panel size we have, you can do full panel surveys, or you can get subsets of size, like random selections of size, and you can also do targeted samples of specific populations. So all of this you can play with looking at how much you can afford within the number of minutes of the survey and the sample size with this. So like I said, if you come to us and we're quite happy to do all of this work for you, if you don't want to work on the calculator yourself, and we're also happy to talk to you about your questionnaire. We will customize a project to your specifications. You heard a lot about the experiments and the various projects that we have had going on in the UAS. We can do single surveys, repeated, obviously, longitudinal designs. You heard about the experiments and scenarios. We can include video and graphics, all the basic things, do targeted sampling. For questionnaire design, you can come to us with a research question and end up with a final questionnaire, or you can bring us a pretty much final draft and we will help you just get it finalized. We're happy to help in other ways with doing questionnaire design. Tanya will talk to you about some of the services that are available extra, but consultation with the UAS expertise and doing pilot testing is included in the costs that we quote you. And then finally, we provided that coded data file, as I mentioned earlier, which allows people to get an exempt IRB, which is a nice speedy path through IRB. All right. So included with all of these survey projects, once we give you a quote, in-house programming with revisions until sign off. So a lot of places, you're allowed to make 2 changes or something before you start getting charged. We tend to just allow you to keep going. Spanish translation, we will get that. That's also included. We'll use a certified research company. We have in-house bilingual staff, including someone who's a certified translator. Participants incentive is also included. We pay them at a rate of $10 for each 15 minutes of survey time. IRB submission, we will do that on our end for you, and there's a very quick turnaround. We have a bilingual help desk, so during the survey period, if there's any questions about your very complicated survey that you put together, they can be helped. We have our data files for the data collection are updated every night at midnight, so you can track progress as you go along and have access to download data. We supply all the standard sociodemographics and household information, as Marco walked us through earlier this morning. Also, the non-response file, screen and survey times, and platform data is also available there, also updated every night. Finally, we give you a final weighted data file. Oh, right. And then there's also for publication, once you've written your papers and you have them ready to go, we'll link them on our site. And we also will host your analytic data file. If you have a journal that requires that you post your data online, we're happy to do that as well. All right, so the process for getting into the field is you either bring us, what you would like to help us develop, help you develop into a survey draft, or we could just finalize it and get it into the field. We go do the IRB, we do the programming and go through that process. We obtain the Spanish translation, get that programmed and tested. We submit the final to the IRB, just as an update. Generally speaking, that there isn't that much change at that point. We do a soft launch. We just open it to a few people so that we have a small file to check. And then we'll do a full launch by sending a survey email invitation. So people in the UAS have consented to be part of the project, and part of our project is that we contact them to do surveys or other kinds of projects via email. So that's all of that consent is already done. So none of that has to be done for any of your projects. If there's something particularly complicated, it may require additional, consent to be part of a project. Like for the EMA studies, we need to consent people into those. But generally speaking, all of that part is done. So there isn't any need to do anything. We just go ahead and launch with an email invitation. All right, so during the data collection, we send out weekly email invitations and reminders to people. Those are reminders to people who have started but not completed the surveys. So we try and bring down the non-response as much as possible. You can monitor progress on the survey webpage. And something that I didn't mention is that every survey includes a comment field where people can write in just anything they have to say about their answers or about the surveys. And we monitor those as well because it's interesting. People will give us more information. I mean, they'll also ask us like, where is my payment card? But they'll also give us more information about what they wrote. And if they see something that doesn't make sense to them, they'll alert us. So that's a great source of helping us make sure that the questionnaire is understandable to people too. And somebody mentioned, I think, Ari, earlier that we can make a preliminary weighted file while data is being collected, or maybe it was Poncho, because most of the participants do so immediately. We have, most of the responses within the first couple of weeks, and you need to keep it in the field for a longer period of time to get the response rate up. But there's no reason not to pull a preliminary data file, get it weighted, start doing the analysis, writing your programs, getting your thinking for your publication set up, and then just run the finals on the final data when you get it. So that's one feature that I think is very useful. We give you the final weighted data file and code book. And then we can do a temporary embargo. We tend to discourage it. We have a lot of data in there that we have collected using federal funds, and it's available for analysis with your project. And we encourage you to be part of that community of contributing your data. The reality is that there isn't really probably going to be anybody else out there who's doing exactly your analysis with that data that you've collected. But if you're concerned and you want a few months to write up your project without any competition, we will give you a temporary embargo. This is just some more screenshots of something you've actually already seen. Marco walked you through this, so I don't think we need to go through it again. This is just what is available on the survey data page. While data is being collected, you can take a look at what's happening with the questions without even having to download the data file, just by going into the for each question, we give you the question text and the frequencies and a little chart so you can see how things are going with that. So that helps monitor specific variables if you're particularly interested in them. We have a lot of resources as well online. I think that's something that we haven't really talked about yet today, but under the About link there on the left in this menu, there's a lot of different kinds of resources there, but in particular under the Resources tab, we have quick links there to a variety of UAS useful information, including our weighting document and other methodological things. And we have a lot of information there about our protocols, but also there's a section for prospective clients that has our brochure and our client roadmap, which kind of lays out what I was just telling you about how things will work if you come do a survey with us. Our SMO profile. Something also I think that we haven't mentioned yet is the accessibility. Our programs, our surveys are programmed to sort of meet basic accessibility standards of being able to see them on mobile phones. If you need additional ADA accessibility, we can build that in. And that document talks about what is already available and what we can build in. And then also data management policies.